guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. So I first want to start off by saying thank you guys so much for all of your sweet messages and your DMs. Ever since I started this channel, I have received so many really sweet messages from you guys, just of like encouragement, people asking different questions, and I'm just really enjoying all the feedback that I've been getting from you guys. It really is so, exciting for me, because I just didn't even think that one person would like my videos or one person would watch my channel, and just to see it grow like this, it's really so amazing. I don't really care about how big my following is or how many people, like what the numbers are, but I'm just so excited that people are interacting and they like me. I just really feel that through this whole process, and you guys will know if you guys are all Caribbean graduates or you're going through medical school abroad, it's such a lonely experience, and it can be really daunting because you're doing all of this on your own, and I've been alone for so long, and I've just wanted to reach out and to talk to people on the internet and to have people talk back to me and actually acknowledge what I'm doing. It's really so crazy and so wonderful. So I really want to start off by saying thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I had received a few DMs about asking what I did for my Step 1 and Step 2 study experience. Now, I did just write my ABFM board exam for family medicine on the weekend, so I'm waiting for my mark. I'm so excited, and it's just so crazy, this full circle moment that I'm done all of the multiple choice exams that are ever required in medical school. I am done. So I think it's only right to just kind of retrospectively look back and give you guys advice on what I did and different things you can do or look out for while you are studying for your Step 1 and Step 2 exams, because again, like I said in my other videos, I got very average scores, but like I've said, 90% of the people who take these exams will get that mark. All of these marks are on a bell curve, and between the 90th% of the whole bell curve is going to be people who get 205 to 235, and 220 is somewhere in the middle. So it's not to say that anyone is smarter or not smarter, it's just the score that you get on these exams, and you just can't predict it, and you can work your butt off and you can study so hard, and once you get that mark, that's the mark that is with you forever. So I really am excited. I will talk about my Step 1 and Step 2 experience. I'm going to put these two together, and then I will do a separate video on Step 3, because Step 1 and Step 2 I did during medical school, and then Step 3 I did during residency. So I did get a question about what was it like to study for Step 3 during residency and what did I do for that. So I'll make that a separate video because I will just ramble on for hours and hours. I mean, I'm trying to talk to you guys like you guys are my friends. I want to keep this so casual and so cool, and just feel like I'm talking to one of my friends in their apartment, So let's get started. Okay, so for Step 1, I am going back way back. I took it in 2015. What I did after the 4 semesters of medical school on the island, what they have you do is you have to do a 5th semester in a different state in America. So in my medical school, they had us do our MD5 in Chicago, in a small town, but we had to live there for the 4 months and complete a 5th semester there. And during that time is where they want you to start putting your headspace in the gear of you're going to be taking Step 1. Now, every school has different timeline requirements for when you have to take Step 1. Some schools require you to take it within 3 or 4 months. Some schools have no requirement, and that kind of leaves everything open to you and how long do you feel that you will need to take that exam. And some people take 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a whole year. But it's important to realize the more time you take to take that exam, it extends your overall time frame for your whole medical school career. And all of these things are important in terms of when you're applying for your visa, applying for your license. They want to see what your timeline is, and if you have had these long extended gaps, You can always say that you are studying, and that is an acceptable reason, but they will question it because some people shouldn't have a 1 to 2 year gap of timeline when they're studying just for their first USMLE. So I took 6 months to take my step 1, and that was not including the MD5. So the MD5 is part of your medical school year timeline. So the clock starts after you finish MD5. So I took 6 months after that. And I do feel like it was a little overkill, but I wanted to make sure. Again, people say that this exam is so hard, and they're not lying, and they want you to take it so seriously. So what I did back in 2015 is I actually, because I was living in Chicago, Illinois, there was a Kaplan Center in downtown Chicago, and they were offering the Kaplan course. So I did take a preparatory course, but I will say this. Do I recommend it now? If you went to the top 4 schools, St. George, Ross, AUA or whatever, a lot of those schools have excellent curriculum, and you will 100%, I guarantee, have been well prepared in the lectures that your teachers are doing for you. I went to a not so great school, and they didn't have the best curriculum, and like I've said before, it's a lot of self-studying. So I was putting in the work to teach myself and to be so dedicated to learning the material, but I wasn't sure if there was any gaps or if I was missing anything, or if these courses would help me have any type of edge or advantage on this test. It's not just your basic sciences that they're teaching you strategies in order to answer those questions, because there is a certain level of finesse that you need to have in order to answer any of these USMLE questions. It's not just memorization and basic learning, it's a lot of critical thinking. And I was thinking these courses, or that course, was gonna help me be able to do that a little bit better. I did take the preparatory course for Kaplan, which was 3 months, I believe. Did I feel like it was worth it? I think it was good in the sense that it gave me a schedule and a regimen of every morning at 9 o'clock I had to go to my class, and I sat there with the few people that I knew that I was taking the class with me, and we did these things together. So I had like a support system. I had 3-4 friends that we were all collectively doing this at the same time. So once that course ended though, I had to still continue studying and make my own timeline of when was I really going to take this exam. So I did take it, I think within 2.5 months. So I made my own schedule, and I was dedicated to that schedule after the Kaplan course, and I was able to do it after that. Now remember also, step 1 in January 2022 is going to become pass-fail. So a lot of this emphasis on having a good score is what has been typically the notion for the last 10 plus years. But starting next year, it'll just be pass-fail, which is amazing, but you still need to put in the work and the time and the effort to be able to answer these critical thinking questions. What I did, and what every medical student will tell you, is there is a question bank called UWorld. UWorld will be your life. You have to do UWorld. So UWorld is going to be like 3,000 questions. And all of the questions when you buy the question bank are going to be divided into different sections. So biochemistry, anatomy, physiology, whatever. I did my Kaplan course. I had all my notes done, and I had all my material that I wanted to read or review or what I thought was relevant. I had that already done from the course. I dedicated all my time for Kaplan to the Kaplan course and just reviewing material. I didn't do any questions at that time because that was 3 months before my test. So you have to dedicate 50% of your time to material, 50% of your time to questions, because you have to get yourself in that headspace of taking questions. The exam is questions. It's like a 300 or 400 question exam. It's very lengthy. It is an 8-hour exam, and you need to have the stamina and the energy to be able to get through that many questions. So it's a marathon. You're preparing for a marathon, and a marathon, you don't run a marathon in one day. You prepare for it for months in advance. So I did 50% of the time was just studying the material and just learning the Kaplan stuff and my own material and incorporating it, making it all work in my brain. And then the other 50% was then questions. I divided all the different categories and I made a calendar just on my MacBook. Every day have a different category in your calendar. So let's say Monday you're going to review biology, Wednesday you're going to review biochemistry, Friday you're going to review anatomy. So I would give myself 2 days because each of these question bank sections is going to be like, let's say 300 questions. So it's going to take a while to get through them. If you do blocks of 40 questions, it's going to take 2-3 days to get through that many because you got to take a mental break, you got to walk around, and you got to take things slow. And I would do these questions in tutor mode. So you open the block, open the question, answer the question, and let's say you get it wrong or you get it right, you still will get the whole explanation of why the answer is the answer it is, all underneath. And you got to read it, analyze it, do notes on them, and keep moving. So I did that for the next month and a half. And what you do is you get through all those questions. You do UWorld once on tutor mode. And then what you do is reset it. So it wipes all of your answers, it wipes all your stats, takes everything out. And then you do it completely over again. And you do it on not tutor mode, like on regular mode. So I did UWorld twice. And I did not do Kaplan questions. That's another big point. I did not like the Kaplan questions. They were too difficult, too short. The UWorld questions and the USMLE questions are very long, lengthy, bulky questions. And Kaplan was too short. And it just didn't feel reflective of what I was being told it was like. So I didn't do Kaplan questions. I only did UWorld twice. And you have to just, once you're doing these questions, connect the dots and try and put these things together in your brain of what is it that the question is trying to achieve here. So one thing I found really important with the Kaplan course is that in terms of the strategies of how they want you to prepare to answer these questions is they want you to ask yourself a few things when you open a question. So they want you to ask yourself, what is the overall topic of this question? Is it about anatomy, physiology, biochemistry? What's the category or topic of this question? So that's the first thing. Second thing is, what is this question asking me? And then the third part is, what is the second step in this question? Because a lot of the time, these questions are not single step questions. They require you to go into 2 different steps in your mind to get to the answer. So the answer is not the first thing that comes to your mind. They want you to think about, this is the question, this is the anatomy, what is the muscle? Or this is the scenario and this is the condition that the patient is expressing, and what is the step in the Krebs cycle that is not working properly. It's just that these questions are critical thinking and they take multiple steps in your mind to get to the answer. So it's just training yourself like you're running a marathon, but it's a mental marathon. It's a marathon all in your brain. So once you get through it, it is really scary and you have to wait, 4 to 6 weeks for your mark. God, that was horrible. But you just have to breathe and just take it easy and just be confident in yourself that everything is going to be okay. Whatever it is that you got is what you got, and you have to move on. So what I think is really important takeaways from that is, let me go back. So I did the Kaplan course. Do I recommend a Kaplan course now? No. First of all, there's a pandemic, so I don't even think they're doing any in-person classes. So that whole structure and that, stability of having somewhere to go every day for a course, it's not there anymore. But what I will say is that if you can, and I've expressed this before, I am a visual learner. I really enjoy watching videos and having someone explain something to me just while I'm on my computer and I'm sitting at home and I am doing these self-studying things by myself. So It sounds really weird, but you guys will know this. As Caribbean graduates or IMGs, people have access to these videos. People definitely have downloaded in some way all the Kaplan courses. I think you could torrent all of these things. I wish I could give you guys all my resources. I have hard drives on hard drives of tons of stuff from my Caribbean medical school time that other students would just give us. They'd be like, yo, do you want this class? Do you want this course? Like, let me give you it to you, bring me your hard drive. If you're at med school and you're struggling and you feel like maybe you need a secondary course or something to help you just get through the material and give yourself a structure, try and find the courses. You can definitely get them from other students. I don't know if there's any way I can give it to you guys. It's just that it's so weird. It's like, it would be so hard to send something like that. I don't think there's any online like way to do that without me getting in like trouble. But I really recommend you, if you are a visual learner and you feel like you could benefit from it, watch a course. So Doctors in Training, like I mentioned before, it's very simple and it just explains what is in first aid. The first aid book is like the most common book that everyone uses to study for step 1. But I didn't actually go through it and read and write individual things in that entire book. I just watched the course. I knew the basics. The thing is that the book and these courses will only teach you the basics, and the test will test you on critical thinking, and it's gonna make you go beyond the basics, way beyond the basics. Remember, you're training for the marathon. So I really recommend you do some type of course, but just do it online, do it at home. Try and find videos from somebody where you can use those resources and you use that to study on your own. And then the second thing, like I mentioned, is take a reasonable amount of time, give yourself a good schedule, take 3 to 6 months. And the third thing that I mentioned is do UWorld twice. That is what I did for step 1. Now, I did step 1 in October of 2015, like I mentioned, and then I started my clinical rotations. So I tried to do majority of them without taking any time off. I did have 1 week off here or there to go visit my family because I was living in Texas. So Houston, Texas is quite far from Toronto, so I did, have some time where I did see my family. You don't necessarily have all the time off where you're not doing anything like you did with step 1. Step 1, I literally took 4 to 6 months of just sitting in an apartment and just studying and not doing anything else. So now when you're on your clinicals, you have to go to shadow or work with doctors for your daytime, and then you have to dedicate your evening time to studying or weekends. So instead of being at home and using my laptop, I got an iPad. I had my iPad and my little notebook with me, and I would take that with me everywhere. I did download UWorld for step 2, and I would do UWorld questions during the day whenever I had free time. So, for lunch breaks, things like that. So I watched the DIT for step 2 videos, and I watched the Kaplan for step 2 videos as well. I didn't do any course for step 2. I didn't go to any program. I didn't do anything different like that. So UWorld for step 2, I believe, is also like 3,500 questions, somewhere between that, 2,000 to 3,000 questions. And you just gotta take it slow and break things up and set up a schedule where you do one theme at a time. So you do musculoskeletal 1 week, and then you do, GI another week, and then you do neurology another week. So the difference between step 1 and step 2 is step 1's formats are all anatomy, physiology, and broken more into their biology sections, versus step 2 and step 3 then become the different systems in the body. So cardiovascular system, GI system, things like that. So your frame of mind starts to change with how you are supposed to approach medicine and these questions. So I did that, and I studied throughout. I didn't take any extended time after my clinical rotations. I took step 2 during my clinicals. So again, you guys are so lucky that step 2CS is canceled. You guys don't have to take it anymore, and step 1 is pass-fail. So you have to really dedicate your time to passing these exams, but the culture of it is changing, which I think is really important. So I feel like I've been rambling on for ages, and Overall, I hope you enjoyed me talking about my Step 1 and Step 2 study experience and what I did. Again, I just want to say thank you so much for all of your support and all your kind messages. It really, really makes me feel so, so good, and I'm just so happy, and I just want to keep this going. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know, and stay tuned for the video about my Step 3. All right, take care. Bye, guys.